President Trump accuses 6 Democrats of seditious behavior. Their 90-second video told troops to refuse illegal orders. Now his posts are igniting a political firestorm. Plus, new images from that deadly UPS cargo plane crash. The engine rips off, erupts into flames, and the final seconds unfold on camera. And a thank you bonus for air traffic controllers, but thousands say they got nothing. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. The fallout is intensifying this morning after President Trump escalated his response to a group of Democratic lawmakers who warned U.S. service members to refuse any illegal orders from him. It all started Tuesday with the release of a 90-second video. 6 Democrats with military and intelligence backgrounds saying this.
The threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
They posted that message amid growing concerns about the legality of recent U.S. strikes on boats in the Caribbean. Operations the administration says target narco-terrorists. But the president's reaction went beyond criticism. On Truth Social, he wrote, "Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors? Lock them up?" An hour later, he followed up with, "Seditious behavior, punishable by death." At the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defended the president's anger and accused the Democrats of endangering the military.
The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging.
On Fox News, Trump's Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche took it further. Here was his assessment of the video.
And this is abhorrent conduct. I felt like I was watching a propaganda video by one of our enemies trying to recruit the military to become spies. I think that those congressmen should be required to answer questions and to answer questions about why they did what they did. And the American people deserve that, and so does President Trump.
But Democrats say this isn't political. It's a reminder of existing law, and their leadership fired back after Trump's posts.
We had patriotic members of the House and the Senate have their lives threatened by Donald Trump in the most unhinged, unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American way. Disgusting and dangerous what Donald Trump has said in accusing patriotic members of Congress and the Senate who served this country well of treason and suggesting they should be killed. That's disgusting. But we, of course, have come to expect this from Donald Trump.
The Pentagon has not commented, but legal experts note service members swear an oath to the Constitution, not the president. They're obligated to follow lawful orders and refuse manifestly unlawful ones. And with the administration weighing expanded operations in the Caribbean, even potential strikes into Venezuela, those questions are no longer theoretical. They're real, they're immediate, and they have now become a major political flashpoint. Federal investigators have released stunning new photos of the moments before that deadly UPS plane crash in Kentucky, and they're revealing what went wrong. The NTSB says the left engine mount on the McDonnell Douglas MD-11 showed clear signs of cracks and overstress. Officials say the plane lifted just 30 feet off the runway when that left engine ripped away, sparked a fire, and sent flames shooting down the wing. The newly released images show the engine tearing off, hurtling into the air, and seconds later, a fireball engulfs the aircraft. 3 pilots on board were killed, along with 11 people on the ground when the burning jet crashed into a nearby neighborhood. Remember these flames and all the smoke? The NTSB says the plane was not yet due for its next detailed inspection of the engine mount, an inspection that would have come nearly 7,000 flights later. Its last check was in October of 2021. In response, federal authorities have grounded every MD-11 in the country until they pass new safety inspections. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is responding to President Trump's new 28-point peace plan for ending the war with Russia. The plan would require Russia to recognize Ukraine's sovereignty, but it also demands major concessions from Kyiv, giving up some territory, agreeing not to join NATO, and accepting a cap on the size of its military. It does include NATO-style security guarantees, promising the U.S. and Europe would treat an attack on Ukraine as an attack on them. On X, Zelensky called it the American side's vision and said both teams will now work through each point. Meanwhile, Ukraine's representative to the UN told the Security Council Kyiv will not surrender any territory under any circumstances. Only a fraction of the air traffic workforce will get the $10,000 perfect attendance bonuses promised after the 43-day government shutdown, and this morning thousands are getting left out. The FAA says just 776 controllers and technicians qualified, far fewer than expected. About 20,000 others won't get the bonus because they missed shifts during the shutdown, often to take side jobs or care for children, while paychecks were frozen. The controller shortage during the shutdown forced cuts at 40 airports, fueling days of cancellations. The Controllers Union is blasting the bonus decision, saying thousands who consistently reported for duty while working without pay are being left out of the reward they were promised. Now a quick update to a story we told you about here yesterday that got a lot of you talking. Remember Azul, the blue 77 Volkswagen van that somehow survived the Palisades wildfire in California? We showed you this AP photo from January, the one that went viral worldwide. There it is right there. You can't miss it. Pretty incredible backstory, right? As promised, Azul had her big debut. And now that every news outlet on the planet has picked up the story, we're getting our first look at the famous refurbished van. This is Azul today, completely restored, repainted, rewired, rebuilt, and now sitting under the bright lights at the LA Auto Show. How neat is that? Volkswagen says its team in Oxnard spent more than 2,000 hours bringing her back, replacing melted wiring, fixing scorched metal, and saving every bit of the 1970s soul of that vehicle that they could. Azul is not just a showpiece, she's become a symbol, if you will. Her owner, Megan Weinrob, told the LA Times she first felt guilty because so many people lost everything in the wildfires. But people kept telling her this van, this little splash of blue right there, refused to burn. That gave them hope. Brighter, shinier, and maybe exactly the story people needed this week. An incredible story of survival. Boy, what I wouldn't give for a ride in that van. We love that story. Finally this morning, we're turning the tables. You ask questions on our YouTube videos, and we're putting them to the test. This is straight from you, where your comments drive the reporting, and we add clarity when the facts get a bit muddy. All right, let's start with the big one, the Epstein files. We got a question from @FarToFar, or Fair to Fair, who asks, so if it's under investigation, they can just redact everything because it's linked to an active investigation? Well, the short answer, they're not supposed to. The longer answer, active investigation is a really big loophole. Here's what the law actually says. The Department of Justice has to release its Epstein files, but it can withhold the following: victims' names and medical details, child sex abuse material, graphic images of abuse or death, properly classified national security details, and anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or prosecution. What the DOJ cannot do is black out something just because it's embarrassing, politically sensitive, or damaging to a public figure. Attorney General Pam Bondi has to give Congress a detailed report explaining every single redaction and the legal reason behind it. Where your question gets real is at that active investigation point and clause. President Trump has already ordered Bondi to investigate Epstein's ties to specific people, and legal experts warn that gives the DOJ plenty of room to say, this touches our investigation, we can't release it. And inside government, the culture is to over-redact, never under-redact, if you will. So no, they can't block out everything or black out everything, but yes, some of the most sensitive material could stay under heavy black ink for a very long time. Doug wrote that his class is celebrating the end of the government shutdown, and they want to know why Blue Origin's rocket runs on methane. Okay, so let's talk rocket fuel. Blue Origin's new Glen booster uses BE4 engines that burn liquid oxygen and liquefied natural gas, mostly methane. Why methane? It's efficient and relatively low cost. It's widely available. It helps pressurize its own tanks. Fewer parts, less weight. And it burns cleaner than kerosene. Cleaner engines matter because soot from kerosene rockets can clog hardware and makes reuse harder. Methane avoids that. It's a better fit for a rocket designed to fly more than once. The new Glen switches to liquid hydrogen on the upper stage for maximum efficiency in space. So, for your classroom and this anchor who just learned an awful lot, methane gives power, efficiency, clean engines, and faster reuse. Hope that helps. All right, keep those questions coming on our Straight Arrow News YouTube page. We see them, we read them, and we love that you're part of this. We'll tackle more of your big ones next week. By the way, we're the fastest, fairest few minutes in news. Be sure to tell your friends about us. You can always watch us on SAN.com or on the app, or stream us on Spotify. Those are your Unbiased Updates for this Friday. Join us back here on Monday. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a fantastic weekend.